global challenges as G20 summit begins.
Federal government launches grand policy in Nigeria. Project to drive innovation and progress.
Tax reform bills. Reforms aim to ease burden, boost revenue.
The House has not taken any definitive position on these bills. Our role is to scrutinize them thoroughly.
Well, Nigeria, home to more than 200 million people, has a vibrant youth population. Among them, students form a critical demographic, a driving force for innovation, leadership, and societal change.
Absolutely, Victor. But while the education sector holds the key to shaping these future leaders, it is weighed down by challenges like inadequate funding, crumbling infrastructure, and outdated curricula.
And yet, despite these challenges, students remain pivotal to national development. They fuel innovation, drive entrepreneurship, build the workforce, and lead social change.
But it faces enormous hurdles too, from poor education quality and high unemployment to limited opportunities and a lack of value reorientation.
And as the saying goes, youths are the leaders of tomorrow. Now, with students making up a large portion of Nigeria's youth, they have the power to drive economic growth through entrepreneurship, innovation, and skilled labor.
And let's not forget their potential in building social cohesion, promoting good governance, and developing human capital.
Well, welcome to Good Morning Nigeria today. We'll explore the critical role Nigerian students play in shaping the country's future. Now, as the backbone of any nation, students drive innovation, growth, and progress. But what does it take for them to unlock their full potential and contribute meaningfully to national development?
We would examine the challenges and opportunities students face, from the need for quality education to value reorientation. Education, as we know, is a powerful tool for national development, capable of producing professionals who drive growth and innovation.
And our discussion will also touch on the government's efforts to boost education funding, as recommended by experts.
Join us as we highlight success stories, identify challenges, and discuss the way forward.
We'll hear from experts, student leaders, and policymakers on harnessing the energy and creativity of Nigerian students for sustainable development. You don't want to miss this. I am Victor, and we are delighted to have you with us.
In just a moment, Victor, we're not stopping there. In the second part of the program, we'll take a look at the Grand Challenges Nigeria GCNG project. What is that about? It was launched yesterday. Of course, you get all the details on the show today. I'm Henry John, and you're watching us live on the network service of the NTA. We're at our headquarters right here in Abuja. Of course, in the course of the program, Chukwudi Okolubaja will join us for today's headlines in the papers. But for now, let's have a news update with Sawal Khalil Ibrahim. Sawa, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Account the best is abundance in Sahara. We rise and land of the free, we know the tiger. We dream great, our communities undying. We're serious, we take like mountain. We swear to God, we turn back into life. We make solutions, we make myself, yeah. There's a destination, we have all the revolution. We are Nigeria, we are Nigeria.
I am the real Nigerian. Brought to you by the National Orientation Agency, NOA.
Win a brand new car. Make a purchase of 10 million naira or more at any Vento Furniture store and stand a chance to drive home a brand new car.
Vento Furniture, addictive quality. Wellman Group of Companies presents the Wellman
All right, we apologize for the technical hitch in that news broadcast, for the lack of audio particularly. Now, President Bola Tinubu is currently attending the opening session of this year's summit of the G20 leaders in Rio de Janeiro. On arrival at the venue, President Tinubu, in company of First Lady Oluremi Tinubu, was received by the host president Luis Inacio Lula da Silva. Leaders of member countries attending the event include President Joe Biden of the U.S., Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Emmanuel Macron, among others. The first session of the summit is focusing on fight against hunger and poverty. Now, the group under the Global Alliance Against Hunger and Poverty is encouraging members and other nations of the world to scale up finance and knowledge for human development. President Bola Tinubu is expected to address the gathering in this regard. And President Bola Tinubu has dispatched a delegation to discuss security matters with the leadership of Chad Republic. The National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu is leading the delegation, accompanied by the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa. The delegation met with the Chadian President Mahamat Idris Deby Itno in N'Djamena on Sunday, 17th November 2024. Nuhu Ribadu delivered President Bola Tinubu's message, expressing condolences over the recent terrorist attack, which claimed the lives of several Chadian soldiers. The team also conveyed the Nigerian leader's message of solidarity with Chad, a key partner in regional security efforts. The discussion between the Chadian president and the Nigerian delegation focused largely on security cooperation, with both countries pledging to intensify joint operations against jihadist groups operating in the Lake Chad Basin. Ribadu described the discussions as fruitful, adding that Nigeria is committed to working more closely with Chad to tackle shared security threats. President Bola Tinubu has redesignated the positions of two recently appointed officials in the State House Media and Communications team to enhance efficiency within the government's communication machinery. A statement issued by Bayo Nanuga, Special Advisor to the President, Information and Strategy, indicates that Sunday Dari, Special Advisor on Public Communication and National Orientation, is now Special Advisor Media and Public Communications, while Daniel Bwala, announced last week as Special Advisor Media and Public Communication, is now Special Advisor Policy Communication. The statement further says these appointments, along with the existing role of Special Advisor Information and Strategy, that there is no single individual spokesperson for the presidency. Instead, all the three special advisors will collectively serve as spokespersons for the government. Now, this approach, the statement further indicates, aims to ensure effective and consistent communication of government policies, decisions, and engagements. Elsewhere, the federal government has launched the Grand Challenges Nigeria project, designed to drive innovation in solving health and other national issues. Vice President Kashim Shettima, who launched the project at the banquet hall of the presidential villa, describes it as a major step in delivering on the promises of the Renewed Hope government.
In serving Nigerians, especially the underserved. It is time to strengthen the capacity of our researchers, healthcare providers, and innovators to meet the health and sustainable development.
The federal government is assuring Nigerians that tax reforms being proposed by the Tinubu administration will not increase the tax burden on Nigerians, but expand the nation's tax base by leveraging technology. Now, this was during an interactive session at the House of Representatives on the 4 tax reform bills submitted to the National Assembly. And to the Red Chamber, the Senate Committee on Basic and Secondary Education has given states a period of 6 months to access universal basic education matching grants to boost basic education. The appeal was made when the committee oversighting the commission went to evaluate the implementation of the 20... Well, those are highlights of the news. Good Morning Nigeria will continue, of course, with me and Yenre after the commercial break. Please don't go away. When the counting is hard.
From the Atlantic that was to Savannah and Sahara, we rise and land on the free, we know the tiger. We dream great, our communities undying. We're still we take that mountain, we swear to God. We take that we make solution, we make myself, yeah. There's a investigation, we have all the
The Real Nigerian, brought to you by the National Orientation Agency, NOA.
Win a brand new car. Make a purchase of 10 million naira or more at any Vento Furniture store and stand a chance to drive home a brand new car.
Vento Furniture, addictive quality. Wellman Group of Companies presents the Wellman Group Colloquium in celebration of Operational Excellence 2004 to 2024 with the theme, the Coast to Coast X-ray of the Nigerian projects, World Panacea, under the distinguished chairmanship of His Excellency Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, GCFR, former President of Nigeria. Special guest of honor, His Excellency Right Honorable Elder Sheriff Ubrewari JP, Governor, Delta State. Host, Deacon Chris Iyowaye, MD CEO, Wellman Group of Companies. Speakers, Her Excellency Dr. Arikana Chihambori Crow, former permanent representative of the African Union to the United States. His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi, Labour Party presidential candidate in the 2023 general elections. Dr. Moses Umoru, DG, Fandu Nigerian Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Professor Michael Zekome, SAN, constitutional lawyer and human rights activist. Professor Jerry Gana, former Minister of Information. His Excellency Dr. Olusegun Mimiko, former Governor of Ondo State. Dr. Henrietta Nwebuzia, Associate Professor, Lagos Business School. And Dr. Biageli Ezekwesili, former Vice President, World Bank. Date, November 26, 2024. Time, 9:30 a.m. Venue, Monarchy Center, 70 Efo Supply Road by FCMB, Efo Delta State. Attendance is strictly by invitation. For inquiry, call 070-35046101 or 090-430-63530. Announcer, Management. The counsel of our fathers, I will urge and advise our younger generation to use talent and brain to sort out problems, not arms. Nigerian youths, let's build our nation together. They swore an oath to serve our fatherland and defend the people that traded their freedom, comfortable homes and mortgaged their lives on the battleground for our unity and peaceful living. These are the great, loyal and committed Nigerian armed forces who risked their lives courageously to safeguard our borders. But in the line of duty, many never returned. Nigerians, arise, let's celebrate our fallen heroes. We honor remembrance emblem to support the incapacitated and families of our fallen heroes.
Thank you for your patriotic commitment to Nigerian unity, stability and progress.
Parastatals, religious and corporate bodies to donate generously to the Emblem Appeal Lounge. Send your donations to these accounts. Account name, Emblem Appeal Lounge. Account number 393-200-7526. EcoBank Nigeria PLC.
Welcome to the Emirates.
This Saturday, Arsenal. Scott, be careful. Bukayo Saka! Nottingham Forest.
He has rolled it to Hudson-Odoi, who finds his pass closed, and in it goes!
Arsenal versus Nottingham Forest. Live on Sporty TV. Multibet sponsors coverage of the English Premier League.
Thanks for staying with us on Good Morning Nigeria. And up next is newspaper review. And Chukwudi Okoli-Obaja has joined us for newspaper review. Good morning to you, Chukwudi.
Good morning. Nyeri, how are you doing?
Very well, Chukwudi, good to see you.
Same here. And I thank the technical crew for coping with the little glitches we're experiencing this morning. It's inevitable. I had lots of it in my time.
All right, let's see what the papers have this morning. We begin with the Daily Trust. The leads with Northern Reps raised fresh concerns over tax reform bills. The writers say region plagued by insecurity, low productivity. It's unfair for Lagos Rivers FC to have 70% back proceeds according to the FRS boss and will be guided by national interest according to Dogawa. So that's the main
Okay.
story.
And The Guardian rates 18 million out-of-school children 34 states ditch UBE grants as unused funds surpass 135 billion naira. Chukwudi.
Yeah, Victor, quickly, the tax reform bills still doing the rounds in controversy, an element of democracy. The fact that we're talking about it is very important to me, to us. It should be important to everyone who admires the process of democracy. Now, Northern reps have joined in. Initially, it was the traditional institution plus the governors and all that. And the argument is that the headquarters of, the people who actually give out those services is where that kind of tax should happen more. I didn't quite understand the argument, because I understood that as being something that the consumer of a good puts in addition to the value of that good. Another form of tax for government. Whatever it is, what I have said is let them keep joying about it. At the end of the day, it either sails through the National Assembly or it doesn't. And the North has good representation in the National Assembly. So if representatives from the North in good numbers say it's not going to, it won't sail through.
In other words, you're just saying let democracy prevail.
Exactly, Victor. That's the point of it.
And then 34 states ditch UBE grants as unused funds surpass 135 billion naira.
Why,
34 states.
Why would you talk about unused funds? Is it that the counterpart...
They are not coming up with the counterpart funding.
That is the problem. How can you have an opportunity that helps you to better the education of our people? You do not, little by little, bring in the little counterpart funding you're supposed to bring in. When it now becomes a backlog, you run into a problem.
It tells of the priorities.
Then their priorities are not right, because you have to learn to save for the rainy day. The fund we're talking about helps you save for the rainy day because it takes a lot of burden off your shoulders. That's why I look at it.
18 million. All right. What else is there?
Now, quickly, Dangote refinery, $6 billion to import crude. And you'll say, hey, what we are giving him is giving them. I keep talking to the individual instead of the company. That's bad manners.
Well, the individual is not different from the company.
Okay.
The company is Dangote.
Quickly, our time is up. What they're saying is that when the 650 barrels per day capacity is really reached, and they need extra crude to reach that, costs will even drop locally, and there will be more competition in Europe. That's what the argument is all about.
All right.
Many thanks, Chukwudi. That's news for review for today. We'll take a break. When we'll come back, we'll get into the conversation. Stay with us.
The counsel of our fathers. My advice to these young people is please do not take us back to those harrowing days. We probably do not know what it is. Nigerian youths, let's build our nation together. The federal government of Nigeria warns vandals of national assets, electricity transmission towers, cables, and other facilities to desist from this act of sabotage. Vandalism is a serious crime punishable under the law. Vandalizing electrical equipment will affect millions of Nigerians, including your loved ones. Remember that national assets belong to all of us, hence the need to protect them. Report all cases of suspicious movement around electrical facilities to security agencies. When you see something, say something. This message is from the Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation in collaboration with the National Counter-Terrorism Center, NCTC, Office of the National Security Advisor. Nigeria means a lot to me. And Nigeria means peaceful cohesion. My country. We continue to pray, and hopefully we will come to understand that unity of purpose, unity of living together. Our ethnic beliefs and background and culture is our strength. Ever since the revolution period of 1914 to date, about 109 years ago,
the people of Nigeria live very peacefully with one another.
I think diversity helps a lot to enhance the best development in Nigeria.
All over the country, have so many ethnic groups, over 250. That is enough to tell you that this is a blessed country, and that God has kept together as one indivisible entity.
Sales in here. Everything's on discount. Yeah, I saw it already. But you know what? I've been thinking we should focus more on making things than just buying stuff. What? You really shouldn't go for this awesome. No. Hear me out, Nkechi. We are always chasing after new toys, upgrading gadgets, and buying things we don't really need. But what if we use that money to create something special? Like what? Anything! Instead of getting another fancy pair of shoes, we could start our own cool business together. You mean we should become entrepreneurs? Exactly! We could use our smart thinking to make something awesome for people. We might even make a big difference in our neighborhood. You know what? You're right. We can learn a lot about money too. Awesome! Let's be the heroes of our own story. Together, we can make a big change and break free from just buying stuff all the time. One right action can make a big difference, right?
There's a new group emerging in Nigeria as the Northwest coming under siege with escalating deadly attacks. Lakurawa, who are the members of this group? Where are they coming from? What are their operating capabilities? Find out on NTA Tuesday Live, coming up on the 19th November 2024. NTA Tuesday Live on checkmating resurgence of terrorism in the Northwest. It promises to be inclusive, incisive, and educative as ever. Join us. This Sunday, Napoli.
Dennis with the ball in, heading towards goal and in.
Napoli versus Roma.
Live on Sporty TV. SportyBet sponsors coverage of the Italian Serie A.
All right, welcome back. This is Good Morning Nigeria, live on the network service of the NTA. And to begin our conversation this morning, which is on Nigerian students and national development, let's quickly take a look at this background report put together by our correspondent, Ibrahim Dan Hamidu.
Education is the backbone of any nation, creating sound minds in sound bodies and unlocking potential in all sectors of the economy for sustainable, holistic, and inclusive growth. By investing in education, we are investing in human capital development, critical for long-term productivity and growth. Nigerian students are eager to make a difference, and their voices need to be heard. The National Digital Learning Policy is a step in the right direction, fostering collaboration among stakeholders for a cohesive and sustainable approach. But it is not just about academics. Value reorientation through education can transform society by reorientating values. Educationists urge policymakers and reformers to create a Nigeria where students are equipped to succeed, where education is prioritized, and where national development is a collective effort. As the country's young minds rise, a legacy of sustainable development takes shape, brightening the future. Don't miss our discussion as we explore the vital role of Nigerian students in national development. Together, let's empower the next generation to drive positive change.
All right, many thanks, Ibrahim Hamidu, for that background report. And to begin our conversation on Nigerian students and national development, let me start by introducing Honorable Comrade Ashefo Sunday Dayo. He is Senior Special Assistant to the President on Student Engagement. It's a pleasure to welcome you to Good Morning Nigeria.
It's my pleasure to be here. Good morning.
And of course, we would have other guests join us in a bit, but let's just begin the conversation with you. Many will be wondering, students are dependent on those who cater for them. And then we're talking national development. So what's the place of students in national development?
Thank you so much. The students are very important to unlock the potential and to drive the economy of any nation. And as such, students are very key to transform. They are very key in developing a nation, and that is why you see my principal has always, his commitment towards the students, towards the education sectors, because he believes that the Nigerian student, with them, with the youth of this country, they believe then whatever any of agenda that is pushing with the student and youth play a very vital role supporting the agenda, because he believes they are the people that he will also hand over to. So that is why the president has been catering for the students of this country. And talking about students are very important in any society. They are very important in terms of development. They are very important in terms of driving the economy of the country. And virtually everywhere you see students. And as such, the current leadership of students we have in Nigeria today has been so wonderful in terms of supporting the government, in terms of also coming on board with different ideas on how they can drive the economy of this country, coming up with different ideas to also help the government and to also help their colleagues, who are particularly the primary school, the secondary school students, and even the tertiary institution students. The student leaders are also, they have been involving themselves in bringing things, trying to change the narrative, and that is why you could see that in recent time, the contribution and the support of the students to this present government is highly commendable.
All right. Many thanks for that background, Comrade Sunday Dayo. Of course, students play a big role in the development of a nation. But we know that Nigerian students face a lot of challenges. Could you highlight some of those challenges and what government is doing, to deal with the problems Nigerian students face?
Thank you so much. In every society, in every group, there has always been the challenges of this and that. And student is not different in terms of having one of two challenges. Today, the challenges I can think the Nigerian students facing is normal challenge that every individual, parent, youth, which is you wake up in the morning, face the normal day routine. But to be realistic this time around, I think the government of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu has made things seamless. All these challenges to be seamless in terms of cater for the student. You see, in those days, the normal challenge that the student used to face is about this ASU strike, which a student who enrolled for 4 years course will turn to 7 years course, but today it's becoming a thing of the past. And they also, again, the normal challenges that Nigerian students, to be precise, used to face about someone getting admission into a university or college or polytechnics, and they are unable to complete their education because of the financial challenge, which this current administration has also come on board to rub those things off. And that is why we have the assisting the net fund, who is catering for those areas. And like we're also talking about transportation challenges on campus, which is also a major problem for students, you know. And the president also came on board to also said that, no, I think I also need to cushion this effect of transportation. And the president also came giving CNG buses to students to also cushion that effect. Like I have said, there is no way, even in life, even pastor will wake up, will have one or two challenges. Probably you want to meet up with preaching one side of the church, but you're unable to do so. Every human being will wake up with different challenges. But the major challenges that the Nigerian students used to face, today this government has, you know, has been able to, you know, at least, you know, put a stop to those things. And the student themselves, it is something that is feasible, that everybody can see, that the student can see. So it's not only in Nigeria here. If you look at the International Student Day we are celebrating today, there is something led to it. In 1939, something led to it. Students agitate, and as such, the government then they felt this agitation is becoming too arch. Some of the student leaders were arrested, some were executed, and at the end of the day, that does not mean they still came up again and still think there is need for them to celebrate the heroes who have passed, who have also led the struggle. So not only in Nigeria, there must be a challenge. There is no way, nobody is perfect. It's only God that is perfect. But I can tell you today, that is why you see in August protests that people are anticipating that students will do this. You know, they discovered that the students of Nigeria were so, you know, so supportive to the government in terms of saying that we cannot do any protest because we have never seen it this way before. Because the kind of the government we are having now is government that open doors for students, the government that listen to students. So whenever they have issue, they run to my office. I take them to the Minister of Education, and if the minister cannot solve, we get to the appropriate quarter, and their matter is being resolved. So a lot of issues.
In terms of resolving the issues faced by Nigerian students, you have made you know, good points about, you know, the NEL fund trying to ease transportation and some of the other challenges. But you see, a major challenge for Nigerian students at the moment is the quality of education they get at whatever level. Whether it is basic, whether it's secondary, whatever, you know, the quality has depreciated according to, you know, reports and statistics that we have. What is the government doing in that regard?
Thank you so much. Let me, like I have said, challenges is very, and that you also go to another dimension. But let me tell you, first and foremost, this present administration came on board and they felt that it's need because it's overdue, it's long overdue. People have been agitating that it's need for us to change our curriculum. I get me, which the government felt, yeah, it is necessary. And I speak to you today, that in Ministry of Education, by God's grace, by next year, we have a different curriculum that will match the 21st century of the education that everybody is expecting.
University curriculum?
The primary from the primary school, from the primary to the secondary and university. And I can assure you, and that is why when you look at that net fund, the president also give room for both. You know, that net fund, the net fund is not only for formal education, the informal education that the president also believe, okay, it's not everybody that have right, that wish to at least some will believe that they want to do skill acquisition, that is their interest, and the president also make provision for that. So if you believe that you don't want to go to university, you don't want to go to college or polytechnic, yes, you want to probably your face skill acquisition, you have one of two skills you want to develop, the president also make provision for that. And let me also tell you the curriculum that I'm talking about today, I can assure you by next year, different courses will be taken. Even from the primary school, there is need for the curriculum have give room for machine learning, robotic, and cyber security that can meet up the standard. So that, and as at yesterday, the National Assembly, the House of Rep committee on there is 3 schools that will just be established now, and one of those schools is about skill acquisition. One is about skill acquisition. One is about this machine learning, cyber security. Want our students to have, even in public service today, you discover that majority of the work that most of people are doing is no longer these analog again. I get it. We are moving to the digital. So we also need to move with that. And to move with that, the curriculum needs to change. That has been done.
The curriculum changing, is the government looking at equipping these schools? Because it's not just to have a curriculum on paper, it's to be able to execute and the students to get the knowledge required.
Thank you so much. Like let me say this. Everybody has his own mandate. UBEC has a mandate for junior secondary school. Today, my principal, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, among other presidents, let me start from 2014 to today, no other president who has invested in education like President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
But some will argue that the value of investment at that time and now are not the same.
Let me say this. This president is someone who prepared to govern this country. The president believes that in as much as he's investing into the education sector through the third fund, the president also identified a key place where money is coming from the tertiary institution to the federal government. And before now, in every university or colleges of education or polytechnics owned by federal government, every 40% of the idea comes to the federal government. But the president also look at that, okay, irrespective of the fund that I'm injecting to the education, your university through third fund might not be enough. And the president said, okay, the 40% that you are bringing on board, stop. Don't bring it again. Then use that 40%, add it to the 60%, making 100%. To also do what? To improve our library, renovate our classroom, renovate the hostel where students stay so that they can feel as if they are the way other universities outside the country feel. When you get to the hostel, you believe you are a comfort place. And the president also identified, okay, there's some little things that they can also do with that 40%. Okay, you give it to them. This, I can say, it is indirect, giving them an autonomy to, develop their institutions. And like I have also said, the president also believes that, okay, some of them are saying because the management will be complaining, we are unable to get a quality lecturers. Most of our lecturers are living from one place to another because they are not being well paid. And the president also felt, what are these issues? UTAS and IPPS. And the majority of this is just that the president believes, okay, from Henceforth, he also remove the tertiary institution from the IPPS. So you now see that the management of our school today are directly having that autonomy to employ and to also pay the staff what they deserved under them, so that that quality education can be given. And let me also say this: it's only here, Nigeria, I'm sorry to say this, we don't appreciate things that we have. I'm starting to be corrected. If Nigerian is not giving quality education, why our graduates are hot cake outside the country? I'm starting to be corrected.
I can answer that.
Yeah, those who study medicine in Nigeria, if they get to UK, they get to Canada, they get to anywhere in the Europe, they take them, they don't want them to come back home. Why? If we are not giving best, if we are not giving, they don't have that quality education. They were not trained over there. They were trained here. I get it. When you get to most of the hospitals over there, where series of operation is going on, if you see 3 doctors, I can assure you 2 will be Nigerian. Where did they train? They are all trained in that university that we also.
Now, while I'm not so pessimistic as to say that our education here is of no value, but I do know that there are factors responsible for that. You talk of shortage of manpower, most of these aging populations. You just want people to come in who are younger to fill the gap. And then when you come in, of course, there is a bit of retraining or reorientation to get you going. In any case, I appreciate the fact that you've articulated a lot of things that the government is doing to try to better the lot of students. But there's one thing, though. There is a cost of living crisis, which, what you could get for 10 kobo, for instance, in the last 6 months, 1 year, has become 30 kobo, 40 kobo. And I don't think that NEL Fund is set up to deal with this. So how is government trying to, because if a student is hungry, if a student is unable to cater for himself, I'm sure he won't be thinking about education. He will need to feed and stay alive first before talking education. So is government thinking towards this?
Thank you so much. Before I will answer this, sometimes when I have, probably I read newspaper or, listen to news, I don't think our people are not reading this same thing that I'm reading. This issue you just mentioned is not only peculiar to Nigeria. It's a global. This issue we are talking about is a global issue.
But we are talking Nigeria.
I know Nigeria first, but this is a global issue. We all know that the president now is in the G20 summit, and when there is a global issue, you cannot remove Nigerian out of it. But let me go back to your question again. Today, NEFON is being established to cater for a better, education that the president believes that he don't want the student will not have an access to a quality education, that the student someone will wake up tomorrow, will have been a president of this country if the opportunity were there. So the president believes that he don't want a crime that, yes, I drop out of the university in 200 level because my parents are unable to pay for my fee. And the president also believes, that is why someone that is coming on board, that know what is coming to do. The president also understands that if your school fees is being taken care of, yes, like you've said, a student, when there is hunger, it will be very difficult for you to assimilate very well. And today, NEFON pay 20,000 naira every month for students they have captured. You can confirm. The data is there. And millions of Nigerians have been a beneficiary of this. Again, the National Association of Nigerian Students, that is the overall body of the students in the country, Equally, they came to my office. They said, Mr. President, their president and the Senate president came to me that they said they want to go and also agitate that this 20,000 is too small. They want to increase it. I said, oh, Mr. President, yeah, you have the right to do that, but do it this way, do it this way. And you have a president that listens to the yearnings of students. But once you pass this through this way, I can assure you, things will be done. So automatically, for those that they have been captured, they give them 20,000 naira for upkeeping every month. And this NAS leadership is also agitating it should be increased to 40,000. That is that, by the way. And let me also tell you, sir, today, for everybody who wake up in his or her house, are definitely looking for what they will eat. And, if you don't work, you cannot get food. If you work, you get what you definitely eat. And the president, like I have said, knows that as a student, you cannot. His focus, his interest is you go to school and get educated, and you concentrate on your study. And that is why the president is making provision for school fees, making provision for food, making provision for transport. So when you wake up and you are looking at how you want to trek, is also going to be a problem.
Tell us, how are these funds disbursed? You talked about upkeep, feeding, transportation, and then school fees. Is it disbursed as a whole, or monthly they get upkeep, or how do you go about it?
Thank you so much. As a student of any institution, you apply for net fund. Once you apply for net fund, the mode to apply is so easy, seamless, that once you apply your JAMB registration number, your admission letter, the course that you are doing, the amount you are paying in school is being put in there. Once those things is being captured, the net fund send it to school to confirm that this person is also a registered student of this institution. And once that is being confirmed, the school send it back to the net fund, and that fund now compare those lists. Then they send it back to the school. And once they send it back to the school, because the school will be the one to say someone who apply in social science, their school fees will be different for someone that apply in medicine. And those who apply in social science will also be different to those who apply in engineering. So their school fees is varied. It's everywhere. So that the school will be able to, these people, this is amount they are paying. And once the NEFON get that, they disburse the school fees directly to the account of the school. That upkeeping that I'm talking about, that is why students put their own account there, because there is a space for students to put their own account. The upkeeping of every month goes to the student account. And the students also have an access to apply for accommodation. You want to pay.
And it's also paid directly to the students?
The accommodation is paid directly to the school. The only money is being paid to the student is the upkeeping. So that is paid to the account of the Nigerian student.
All right, fantastic. It's important to also mention that this is not like a grant to the students. It's a loan, which they're expected to pay back. Okay, fine. We're talking about Nigerian students and national development. You're talking about what the government is doing to keep students in school and to get them properly educated. But, another major factor that is affecting how much students contribute, to national development is what happens after school. The unemployment rate in the country is increasing. At the moment, it's put at 5.3%. It's higher for females, put about 6-point-something%, and for male, 4-point-something. That is a factor as to, if all of these initiatives that the government is putting into the welfare of the students and, the academics of them would materialize to national development in the long run. Because imagine you finish school and then you can't secure a job. So, it's like going back to the street. So that's one. And then, is the government also looking at out-of-school children? Because, yes, we're talking about a number of people in school. That's less than those on the streets. Statistics says over 20 million at the moment. Is there anything the government is doing in this regard?
Thank you so much. Like I have said, this current administration has underscored the importance of students in national development, and as such, that is why the government led by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is doing everything possible to make sure that you have a very solid foundation for Nigerian students, have a very solid foundation for the youths that will take over from him. He's a president that he believes that the best legacy he can give to this country is to build a successful generation. And building that, he can only see that from the student and youth. And when you look at the youth demography of this country, the student takes the largest percent of the youth demography. So the president is quite key, is committed to student and youth development. And go back to your question. This loan, like I have said, is not a grant, like you said, is a loan that has no interest. And I'm saying this to our parents, to our, our brothers, our cousins, guardians, that this loan has no interest. It's 0% interest. So don't be thinking of go and be taking money from Lapo, Bomolo Lanta, or all these mushroom, micro finance bank that they will give you money and they will now be disturbing your life. Stop going and collecting money from them. Let your son, your daughter approach Netfund. And, for a president.
Sorry, please. What's the number of people, of students captured by Netfund?
I'm coming. The president who said, okay, I'm giving you this loan. And he said that once you graduate, 2 years after, you'll be paying. And paying when you have a job. So the president knows that he cannot give you a loan without a job. And that is why the president is working assiduously to make sure that we create jobs, opportunity for young Nigerians who are ready to work with the government agencies, working with the ministries and processors. And the government is also doing everything possible through SMIDA, through Ministry of Trade and Investment, that if you also have, like I have said, a skill that you believe that you want to develop after school, you don't want to be, you want to work for yourself, you don't want to work for anybody, and that you can be working on your own and pay this loan back. And that is why the president, through Ministry of Youth, that we have what we call 2 skills, as in one student or one youth with 2 skills. And this means that the president is also investing through that to, when you, after school, you graduate, you want to be doing one of 2 things. You want to go into business, then you can also have an access to money there so that that loan can be paid back. And after 2 years, you don't have a job. They said you can approach court to swear affidavit that, I never get a job. So how am I going to pay? You go to, so automatically, if you don't have a job, you cannot pay back. So, and the president believes you paying back, that is where people coming behind you can have an access to it, so that that ministry, that agency will not die. So the president is doing everything possible, humanly possible, to make sure that we have jobs everywhere. As I speak to you today, within the 1 year of 1 year and 5 months of Ashwaju, I can attest to it. Those who want to do civil defense has opened their portal like 2 times. Police, fire service. As I speak to you, the FRIC just closed their portal. Go to Civil Service Commission today. Form is ongoing. Go to Ministry of Labour through the NDE. There are a lot of job opportunities ongoing everywhere. People are also moving. Those who are retiring, they are also filling the gap. Yes. And those who they are employing to these places are not the son or daughter of this president. They are not sons of daughter of. People used to say before that if you are not a family of a senator or a governor, you cannot get a job. This government is different, and that is why one of the reasons why I'm here today. We are celebrating academic excellence in International Student Day in 2024. We are taking it a new dimension because the president believes a son and a daughter of no person in this country can also have that access to the access that a son of a senator or a governor have in this country. That so his daughter, a son of no person can have that access, can have that opportunity. It's there. It's just what we just need is just to wake and to raise the consciousness of our people. There's a lot of scholarship abroad that is happening in everywhere, but the point, most of our young one again, that is why this reorientation of our students need to set in. And I thank God today. I just watched that the Sunday Diary. Just I just watched Sunday Diary. Former Minister of Youth has now been spokesperson to the president on reorientation. That is need for us to orientate our people towards our value, to understand what we are doing. I have a lot of students who have data on their phone. What they are using it for is TikTok or what have you. Why other people who are taking opportunity of scholarship, from TED Fund, from PTDF, from Niger Delta Development Commission, and so on and so forth. A lot from NPC. There's a lot of scholarship, but these people are not, and people who are taking it are not different. They are not giving the session to anybody that you must be. So that is about that. So the president is working and is creating a liberal environment for people to get employed when you graduate. I get it. And sir, to your question, I so much believe that if today your question again, sorry.
Well, I had asked earlier the coverage.
Okay, the coverage and as I speak to you today, yes, I cannot say authoritatively the numbers being captured, but I cannot say at least over 10 going to 15 or 20 million Nigerian students has been captured by NELFund. Yes.
All right. It will be good that you confirm
that
statistics.
Between 15 and 20.
Okay.
And as at last
that's
week,
a wide margin.
Yes. As at last week, the president of NANS is because of my activities in Abuja here. The president of NANS, the NELFund management, they were in the Northwest sensitizing students on this NELFund, telling them how to apply. You know how much Maduguri Unimade got. You know how much UI got. I get him. At the time they said South and Southeast they are not being captured. But today, a reasonable number of institutions in the South and Southeast has been captured. And people are celebrating this. And that is why you see the students are now seeing that, yes, they have a president who indeed is interested in their well-being and their development, who is giving that access, who is giving that opportunity for them to drive. When you give an education, you give access to education, you have it's just if you give water, you have given life. And so they have seen a president who is opened that door for them to be educated. So that is why the students everywhere appreciate this president. And what we are about to do tomorrow is also, to thanks and to appreciate the president, for giving access to Nigerian students. And are you getting me? So this year, International Student Day is about celebrating, celebrating the Mr. President. Thanks the Mr. President for giving us this. And we have never had it so good in Nigeria.
As at last month, the MD of NELFund was talking about, the chief executive was talking about up to 350,000 applications. And so, of course, you have also placed the caveat that you can speak authoritatively regarding the coverage, but that's to make it straight. But I wanted to refer you again back to, the issue of the capacity to pay. Now, you have also agreed that if you don't have a job, you cannot pay. And then all the jobs you have listed are government. Government employs, the number of people captured by government employment, doesn't even scratch the surface of the teeming unemployed. And so we will be talking more about creating the enabling environment so that private organizations can take on board the teeming unemployed. Government can't take just the paltry that government can take.
Thank you so much. You are a civil servant today. The majority of our PAMSEC directors, deputy directors, if everybody is saying they don't want to work with the government, would they be that director, PAMSEC, deputy head of service, and what have you. And yes, I also agree with you, the private sectors. And I have equally mentioned here that the president has also opened doors that if also you felt after school, even when you are in school, you must learn a skill.
So you can be self-employed.
Are you getting me? It is now very, very important now that while you are in school, you also have a skill that you are doing. So when you graduate, you will be self-employed. So that, like I have said, on your own, when you have what you are doing that is giving you money,
and you can pay back.
Let's take a look. A rep member pay back the loan he took in 1978, and as at that time, the loan was just 1,000 plus. And he said in his testimony that if that loan was not given then, probably he would not be where he is today. Today he is a serving rep member because he have the certificate.
Of course, we appreciate.
Are you getting me?
All right.
And
because of time,
paid back. He just paid back because
good.
he said he will have paid back, but that's the body that gave that money then has been scrapped. But he believes that.
I hope Nelfon will not be scrapped by the time
No,
people
no,
are ready to pay.
no,
Okay, fine. Okay, fine.
Was
Now it's time to go because of time. Really, we'd like you to tell us what you're having tomorrow, and then just quickly tell us what government is doing just to ensure that the Japa phenomenon, doesn't catch up with the people who are benefiting from the government NEL fund at the moment. What you're doing just so that you can keep them within the country and of course promote national development. And then tell us about your program tomorrow.
Thank you so much. Let me start by this Japa syndrome. Well, the president is someone that believes that yes, you can exploit. He's a man that when we have a president who understands what it takes. The president believes as a Nigerian student, you can, Nigerian youth, if you think you want to live, to go and exploit, and fine, it's a good one. And the president, what the president now said is, I will make Nigeria a place for you, that when you are there, you have no cause to say you want to stay there. You have to come back to Nigeria. So that is what the president is working. The president is working towards a country that everybody, wherever you have Japa, you have reason to say, I want to come back to Nigeria. And that we will start seeing the manifestation of all these by next year. Let me say this. Most of our colleagues are friends. It's only if they are not telling you the truth, what they are passing through over there. Some of them will tell you. I have a friend that just came home recently. He said, it's not easy. We can be making the money. Oh, if you have any one of them, ask them to send you 50,000. It's always difficult for them to send money here because they will tell you the bill they are paying, the tax they are paying. So they will tell you the analysis of the money they are taking and how the tax is also taking it from them. So they will tell you that the best place for them to stay now is Nigeria. I get him, and see, they also find their way to come. So that is the president is doing. And towards our program tomorrow, like I have said, tomorrow is to celebrate an academic excellence, to celebrate the commitment, the achievement of Nigerian students, and to also celebrate the president who has given this environment, this enabling environment for Nigerian students to thrive, and to also celebrate our best brain. Like I have said, the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is someone who encourage, best brain, who encourage people who are doing well, who excel in their field of study. I get him, and that is what we are doing. By God's grace, we'll be giving 6 fully funded scholarship, postgraduate scholarship, 6, 1 per geopolitical zone, and we have 6 zones in this country. Tomorrow, by God's grace, the university have sent the names of the overall best graduate students. What the president is doing through my office is for your candle, the candle you are burning, to read, and for you to be an overall student in your university. that candle will not be wasted. So we have identified that, and that is why we are celebrating. So it will now serve an encouragement that, okay, tomorrow to other students. We also go to the extent that even the law school, now the DG has sent the name. A lady was the overall student in the 2022-2023 academic session in law school, who is best graduating student. We're also celebrating them. We're also celebrating the overall JAMB score in 2024 student. Even the secondary school student, the Bells Wahik, the Bells Neko. So we want to make sure that in Nigeria we have a president that is looking into this. We have a president that encourage your
academic
effort,
excellence.
That your efforts. Are you getting me? In why you are, in your efforts while pursuing your academic activities on campus.
All right, because
we have
of time,
the president who recognizes that.
Thank you so much. Because of time, I think we'd have to leave the conversation at this point. Many thanks, Comrade Asher for Sunday Dial, Senior Special Assistant to the President on Student Engagement. It was a pleasure to have you on the program.
It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you so much.
All right, so we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll get into the second part of our conversation. Stay with us.
Hey Nigeria, ready to breathe cleaner air and save money? Let's talk about gas. Drive with CNG, the smart, cost-effective choice. Fill up for less and travel further. Save money, save the planet. Switch to LPG for cooking. It's cleaner, healthier, and better for environment. Say goodbye to smoke and eye problems. Do you know Nigeria is a gas nation ranked 9th globally with over 209 trillion cubic feet of gas reserve? Gas isn't just for cooking and driving. It powers industries too. Cleaner, cheaper, and more efficient. And the best part, conversion centers are popping up everywhere. It's never been easier to switch to gas. Join the cleaner energy revolution. Choose LPG for cooking and CNG for your vehicles. Clean energy for brighter future. This message is brought to you by the Office of the Honorable Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Gas, supported by the Nigeria Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, NMDPRA.
I think Amaka should just move out of the house. Yes.
No. Standing out of the house is not the right thing to do.
Oh, there you go again with your sentimental family stuff.
Baby, if our aim is to stop this affair, it is best achieved under our roof.
You do something terrible and you'll be acting innocent.
What are you going on about?
Don't ask me that question again. You couldn't even control yourself in the presence of our visitors.
What are you accusing me of, woman?
My son, I don't know how serious you are with my daughter, but there's something that needs to be done urgently before you move any further.
Anything, just anything, just say it. I'm ready to do anything.
There is a spell that needs to be removed.
A spell?
Family forever. The story of our lives. This Sunday, live on Sporty TV.
Bienvenidos a Bilbao, bienvenidos a San Mamés.
Athletic Bilbao versus Real Sociedad. Watch live on Sporty TV. Brought to you by SportyBet. Play with champions.
You have to move from the point where you protect and defend your religion to a point where you also recognize the rights of the other person, of the other religion, and protect it. So if I am protecting my own territory and my own people and trying to emphasize their rights and protect their rights, I should also be thinking about how to protect the rights of the others.
Both Islam and Christianity recognize and defer to God, and both recognize the temporariness of the life of this world, and that ultimately we all go back to God for the day of reckoning, when everybody will render an account of his life on this temporary abode.
Is a new group emerging in Nigeria as the Northwest coming under siege with escalating deadly attacks. Lakurawa. Who are the members of this group? Where are they coming from? What are their operating capabilities? Find out on NTA Tuesday Live, coming up on the 19th November 2024. NTA Tuesday Live on checkmating resurgence of terrorism in the Northwest. It promises to be inclusive, incisive, and educative as ever. Join us.
This Saturday, Eintracht Frankfurt. Werder Bremen. Watch live Eintracht Frankfurt versus Werder Bremen on Sporty TV.
SportyBet sponsors coverage of the German Bundesliga.
All right, welcome back. The Grand Challenges Nigeria GCNG project is an exciting initiative that's tackling some of Nigeria's most pressing health and development challenges. Launched in partnership with the federal government of Nigeria, this project is all about driving innovative solutions to make real impact.
And the project brings together government, non-profit, development and private sector partners to support local innovations and researchers. What are the future prospects of the game-changing initiative? Well, we are being joined by guests in the studio to talk more on the project. Let me first introduce Professor Salisu Abubakar, who is President, Nutrition Society of Nigeria. It's a pleasure to welcome you to Good Morning Nigeria.
Thank you for having me. Good morning, Nigeria.
I've also been joined by Professor Folake Samuel, Program Director and Technical Lead, Grand Challenges Nigeria. Thank you for coming on the program.
Good morning. Also joining us for the conversation is Professor Lateef Sani, Executive Director and CEO, Nigerian Stored Products Research Institute. Many thanks for joining us, Prof.
Thank you very much. All right, Prof, let me begin with you. Talk us through the aims, the objectives. What's the initiative all about?
All right, thank you very much. The Grand Challenges Nigeria project is birthed out of joining the League of Grand Challenges around the world, which have been existing in different countries, mainly supported to address challenges in the various countries. So Nigeria was able to now get the Grand Challenges for Nigeria, which is coming through the Nutrition Society of Nigeria, but it's meant to be for Nigeria. And the main thing is, like you highlighted in your brief, is to see how we can use local solutions to our local problems. So it's about identifying the challenges for health and development in the country, and also getting Nigerians to find innovative ways of addressing those challenges. So that's all about. And what it means is we are going to get individuals from different sectors, academia, government, non-governmental, like you mentioned, to come up with proposals for identified challenges, that they have initiatives that are innovative, that will be able to address those challenges. So funds will be provided for those individuals, so that they take some researches that will now come up with solutions of some of these challenges.
All right, challenges. We want to know the specific health and development challenges this project is addressing. Professor Folake, could you help us with that?
Thank you very much. The request for proposals that we have just rolled out yesterday, announced by His Excellency Senator Kashim Shettima, is about advancing innovative solutions for maternal and child health in Nigeria. The statistics that we have for the health of mothers and children are dire. Nigeria is one of the countries where it is very difficult to be a mother and to survive, to carry a pregnancy to term and to give birth safely. It's also a country where it's difficult to grow up and achieve your full potential as a child. stunting, wasting, and underweight. These are all indicators of malnutrition in children that is stunting their cognitive ability and their potential to become productive adults in the future. And we have millions of children who are affected by this. So these are the health challenges that this particular request for proposal seeks to look at. But we are not looking at ordinary research questions this time around. We are looking at visionary directives. We're looking at initiatives and innovations that can advance health in a grand way. Hence the word grand challenges. It's finding solutions to problems that are affecting so many people on a grand scale. So these are the points that we're looking at now.
How will the project impact the lives of Nigerians, particularly in rural communities and underserved population?
Very good question. The call for proposals ensures that the ideas that will be accepted for funding are ideas that look at sweeping problems and which provide solutions that are scalable. So the grant for now will entertain ideas that can be tested. So we call it a seed grant. It's going to just test on a small scale, but it must demonstrate significant potential for scalability. An idea which after testing can affect millions if marketed, and I use the word marketing now, not just in the commercial sense, but in the sense that they can
publicity?
Publicity can be taken up by the government. It can be rolled out in the 774 local governments of Nigeria to affect millions, whether rural or urban.
All right, many thanks, Professor Falake Samuel. Let's get back to Professor Salisu Abubakar now. Listening to Professor Falake Samuel talk about improving maternal and child health. Of course, that gives me joy. But you want to ask, when you come up with the solutions and then she's talking about getting the government to take it up and all of that, how do you want to get the subnationals, to actively take up some of these solutions? Because we know that most of the people who are impacted by some of these challenges, like my colleague said, are in the rural areas, and they are being controlled or managed by the subnationals. So how do you intend to bring them into this, not just the federal government?
Thank you very much. I think when you're talking of solution to problems in Nigeria, we always are more emphasizing on top to bottom approach now. One example is the recent program that the Vice President wanted to initiate by N774. So coming from the Vice President, the Chairman of National Council on Nutrition. So I'm just taking that perspective as an example. So which means that it's now looking at it from the angle of the local governments, so coming up not the usual way that we do things. Now Grand Challenge is trying to say innovative ways. If before we take it from top to bottom, now we want to see how best we can use bottom-top approach. And the engagement will be at various levels. And this solution that we are talking about, we don't have them within ourselves. We are expecting Nigerians to come up with them. They're only guided by the call for the proposal. And part of those things is you have to now integrate those aspects of showing how best it can impact at that level. So whoever is applying them for this grand challenge will have to show serious indication of how that is going to impact that rural level and also across board. Now if you're talking of maternal and child health, of course, like you have mentioned, most of the people that are affected are at that level. So I'm believing that whoever is bringing any innovative solution, we have to now figure out how best can those people be impacted. Otherwise, it will not scale through the process of getting you selected for the challenge.
All right, Professor Latif Sani, let's get to you now. You're the Executive Director of Nigerian Stored Products Research Institute. What is the timeline for this program, really? Is it open-ended? What are your specific targets and goals within it? Tell us the timeline. And then can you also tell us what are the long-term goals?
All right, thank you very much. I think number one, this call is on short, medium term. So we're looking at 12 months, maximum 16 months for any of the project implementations and impact. And if we do that, at the end of the day, there will be another core within the court of those that have been selected. Some will also now be selected for scaling that will take us to the next 3 years. So that's the way the project is designed.
When you say call, are you looking at academics coming up, or is it just anybody on the street that can participate?
It's going to be everybody. This activity now goes beyond the academia. We are discussing, and I said it, that this is a silent revolution. It's a game changer. Unlike before, indigenous knowledge are very important and critical, and we've not been giving them enough respect. We knew when we were young in those days, if you recall, that we have trees in our streets, especially me that I live in Ibadan. As you wake up, your child wake up, there is a tree outside that they will plug and boil water, and they will give you, they will bath with you, and they will give you to drink. And that's Dongoyaro tree. All right? When you want to eat bread in those days, we recall that there is a plant that we normally say we want to go and get butter. We get that thing, slice it, and put it on our bread. Do you know what we call butter in those days? Before margarine started coming to this country, and we messed everything up. Avocado. So we are going back to the grassroots. This robo is another snack that if you produce it for 6 months, it will, and it's highly nutritious. The pregnant mother, if you have access to that kind of a thing, will be very happy. In Kano, there is a product that we call kunuzaki, that you get millet, sorghum, combine them together. We have indigenous knowledge that are not being taken to the forefront. Who said the media group cannot respond to the challenge? It's a challenge program. It's global. The only thing now is that you cannot submit that proposal by yourself alone.
And so now that you've talked about not being able to survey it alone, what's the potential for international collaboration? Or you want to now go this alone?
No. This is purely, in fact, it's a global challenge program. We have more than 20 countries already running it in different, India, Pakistan, Malaysia.
Localized already. In each country?
Localized in their countries, but being supervised by global office. Okay. So it's a North-South collaborative partnership system. At the same time, South-South collaborative partnership system. Who say you cannot draw your idea from Kano and implement it in Bayelsa? You can. And who say I cannot tap my idea from India or Fiji Island, the Pacific, to combine? So the point is that if you are writing a call, and I want to, the media is very important in this kind of a call. You want to go to Brass now in Bayelsa, in that you cross the water to the river, to the village, and look at what do they need there. So we need people, logistics, you need the media, you need the nutritionist, you need the food safety experts. And you now need the policy makers. Everybody we have to be, that's why we call it collaborative research program. Not inside it, you will train whoever want to get master PhD. That one is sideways. The real one is you must start from the needs, the grassroots. What do they need? It is from that grassroots that we now begin to scale it up.
All right. Many thanks, Professor Lateef Sani. Listening to you talk about, leaves, trees, and all that parents used to use, and where we are today, having to look for processed stuff for everything. You want to look at how professionals will accept some of these researches, because when you talk to professionals, especially in the health sector, they tell you that some of the indigenous products that we have may not really
be used because dosage, they give a lot of reasons why they're not acceptable in medical practice. How do you intend to surmount that particular challenge and make whatever products or research you come out with acceptable by all? So science is universal. So I think one of the key points that Professor Latif Sani is making is this particular call should be multidisciplinary. Should be something that you can pick solutions from the collaboration of different sectors, media, nutrition, health, agriculture, to solve those problems that are challenging us. And not just that, these problems, these solutions must be homegrown, must be locally contextualized. We should stop importing solutions. We should make our solutions grounded here in Nigeria, because it will be more acceptable, it will be more sustainable, it will be more affordable. And since the scientific process is what we are looking at in this grant, we can be rest assured that whatever comes out of it can be tested, can be proven, the dosages, whatever, can also be scientifically verified. So it's not just a program that will bring about ideas that are not testable. They will be testable, they'll be tested. And not just that, they must be scalable. That is very important, because right now, transformative solutions go beyond just small classroom projects. They go right now into issues that think deeper inside the box and out of the box at the same time. And that is the challenge that we're looking at now. Not business as usual. Prof said it's a revolution. And that, I believe, it is a revolution.
All right, Professor Samuel, thank you very much. Let me ask Professor Abubakar, how does the project plan to sustain its efforts and impact beyond this initial funding, or timeline?
Thank you very much. For everything that we do, the sustainability is very, very important. And for this project, we already have built in that sustainability plan, in the sense that this word of collaboration that has been coming up today is very important to it. You see, private sector is engaged, the government is engaged, the other organizations that are local, subnational are engaged. So, for example, in this case, we already have, that's why we are with Prof. Sani. He's a partner to this project from his organization of Stored Product Research Institute. We already have Aliko Dangote Foundation sign up to this. We already have Nigerian Institute of Medical Research sign up into it. The most important is the government anchorage. So that's why the Vice President himself is the one launching this project. So the government's already taken ownership of the project, because the government understands it's important. Nutrition Society is like not the project, but the actual person who owns it is the government. So the government has already identified that and taken the ownership. We should now make it more sustainable.
Has it been owned by state governments too, or it's just the federal government?
For now, we have the Office of the Vice President as part of the ANCO, and we also have Federal Ministry of Innovation, Science and Technology. And they already have committed some budget lines for this project. Because at the end of the 4 years, like the Prof mentioned, we want to see now what next after 4 years. So government now putting in some money, and the partners that are engaged in the collaboration also having some money to keep it sustained. So even at the end of this funding, we are hoping that the government budgeting for it, the different partners that are on it, will continue to provide support for the project.
What are the long-term goals? I'm sorry, Henry. What are the long-term goals of this project?
It's been mentioned several times. The goal is to see that we have contributed to development of Nigeria in different perspectives. Now, this call is targeting maternal, newborn, and child health. So by the end of this, we're expecting to see changes in the indices for maternal and child health. We already have sustainable development goals, for example. This one is coming around 2030. So whatever you're doing, you're trying to address, the goal of the country in terms of development, which is the project is aligning with. So after this, the next call will now target another challenge. which now also be targeted based on how much of the indices that we have that we need to reduce based on the country's plan. So we always try to align with what the country is trying to achieve in terms of development in the country.
All right, Professor Sani, I'd like you to tell us, you said everyone can participate in this program. So just give us the procedure. So someone is watching you at this time and is interested, you know, how can the person be a part of it?
Well, thank you very much. When I entered this place, I saw something which looks indigenous, but we were not taking care of it before. Thank God for the COVID-19. My senior colleague they gave him tea, and he came out with his own secret. And the secret that he did was he was squeezing something onto the tea. What was he squeezing? That's lemon. That lemon, people do not know that it's a functional food. If you drink lemon water, lemon tea, all these cancer, all these things, they will be reduced. So now the concept is we've made the core. If we look at the core and remember what we took to survive during COVID-19, ginger, turmeric, cinnamon, garlic, all these things. I say, wait a minute. In our village in those days, my grandmother used to compound some of these things together. Just like his Royal Highness Ooni of Ife said at the stage and challenged us that we should come to it that have solutions. So if he's interested in coming out with a challenge program using our indigenous plants, do you get it now? Ephedrine, scent leaf, and all those things. He look at his colleague or whoever at the university, NAFDAC, SON, come together, brainstorm together, have the idea and a concept, then you respond to us that we have this concept. Can we be allowed to be pitched along with other competitors? Then we are going to have a kind of project concept ideation pitching, where every one of us will see it glaringly and we look at it and begin to rank it and look at it. If we pick this one, where is it going to benefit? It's going to benefit Northeast, Northwest, Southwest, North Central. Wow, take it down. If we take it to the community, who will use it? These people will use it. You don't need too much education to use these things. Just boil water, put it down, and drink it before you go. Mark. So those are the way we are going to iterate those criteria to be sure that by the time we pick the best 10, anybody, anywhere in the globe can say you have done your best. As we are doing that normally, there's going to be scientific analysis of everything, like you have said, measurable quantity, like you have said, everything will be done, documented. And immediately you do that, the next thing will now be the pilot stage. It is when you get to the pilot stage that you know that we can scale it. If you say it's 1 gram, can we scale it to 1 kilogram later? That's the meaning of scaling that we're talking about. And once we are sure of this, we now privatize or commercialize and release it. At that level, once the private sector buys it, don't forget, the private sector will be with us in the ideation stage. Everybody, like I said, that is important, we have to be there. And the president of Nutrition Society has said it, we do not have the 10 solutions as we are talking. It has to be coordinated by all of us. And I still repeat, indigenous knowledge in this country, if we recall back to it, our longevity will be increased beyond 57. We'll move to 80, 85, just like the way Obasanjo is rolling around.
All right, thank you. Professor Falake, you know, listening to the three professors in the room, you know, talk about this, it's very exciting. And then you want to tell us, how would this, you know, in long term affect the health sector? Because at the moment there are so many challenges. Pricing, medicines are not affordable. Access, you know, for so many people in rural areas, it's not there. And then the fact that most people are coming down with all kinds of ailments, the present economic challenges, people can no longer feed well and, you know, do the basics, you know, just to stay healthy. So how would this change the narrative in the health sector?
The causes of these problems that you have iterated, there are different levels. There are immediate causes, there are underlying causes, there are basic causes. And the solutions to this will take time, no doubt. But we are not saying there are not initial initiatives. There are current ones that are ongoing, that are working. But one of the long-term goals of this project is to sweep the corners of the room. What already exists in terms of research? Can we bring them together and actually scale them? And how are we doing that? This project actually brings together so many innovators. We want to start up an ecosystem of innovators and of research that has impact at scale. So by the time we do all of that, we will have a lot of effects and impact on the health sector in the coming years. Like I said, it's a slow process, but what we need is incremental change, transformative change, consistently and directed by national priorities and national homegrown solutions. So the long term is reducing the poor indices in maternal and child health, bringing together an ecosystem of innovators, sweeping our room and knowing what exactly exists that we are not using, that we can use. So these are the long-term issues in this project.
All right, let me stay with you, Professor Samuel. Policy can make or mar the project. How well are you engaging with policymakers, of course, to advocate favorable policy making and regulation to ensure that the project can at least outlive this initial timeline?
Yeah, that's a very important question. So one of the cardinal points of this project is government anchorage. So Nutrition Society of Nigeria has kind of birthed it, but having birthed it has handed over to the government. The program was launched yesterday by His Excellency, the Vice President.
Government has 4 years per time.
Yes. So it is institutionalized because there is, yes, there is an anchoring ministry, the Federal Ministry of Innovation. We mark that word, science and technology. And if there is one word to describe our program, it is innovation. So if it is domiciled in that ministry that has the mandate for innovation, and a budget line has already been created in that ministry to ensure yearly continuity of this program, definitely
But you see, another government can come and this Ministry of Innovation, Science and Technology can be changed to something different.
But the mandate will not change. The mandate will not change.
You marked innovation.
Yes.
Innovation wasn't quite there.
That's new.
The good news is that we are from universities. We are also at the national agencies in this country. And we are also professional bodies. When we say Nutrition Society of Nigeria, it's not just Nutrition Society of Nigeria. We have the Nigerian Academy of Science, we have Nigerian Institute of Food Science and Tech. Every one of us are part of this drive. And the private sectors are there. That is my own game change, the private sectors. By the time we work very well to get 2, 3, 4 products in the hands of the private sectors, it's going to take over this initiative at the end of the day.
All of you academics, to what extent, because the Ministry of Education is more, has been there and will always be there. It's more, why didn't you anchor, around the Ministry of Education, for instance?
Now, it has its own different dimension. Because today, by Nigerian Charter, the ministry that is anchoring innovation is best seated. If I want to talk of pedagogical method, teaching method, demonstration methods, then I will anchor it in Ministry of Education, but not on innovation.
Okay, many thanks. Professor Salisu Abubakar, the program has been launched, you said yesterday, so 24 hours and counting. What should we expect to see in the next few months?
Well, in the next few months, that's a very good question. I think we've already started counting. In the just past less than 24 hours, already have started seeing people applying for this challenge. and we already have seen people come in to ask so many questions about how are they going to go about it. So in the next few months, from now to 2-3 months, we are expected to close the call for proposals. So our expectation is within that time, we should be able to get as many applications for these grant challenges as possible. And we'll begin to now see how our team of reviewers will begin to work on trying to see, like Prof mentioned, what are the best 10 that we can take to start with.
Is there a website or something? How are these calls?
Yes, we have a website for the Grant Challenges Nigeria, and there's all the information for the challenge is posted there. We also have all the media handles that people can also lay hands on, and all the information that is required, including if one wants to call for conversation on phone or email. So we have all the information that people can
Tell us
use.
the website.
I think I'll hand to Folake to do that.
Type Grant Challenges Nigeria in Google. It's optimized for finding. Yeah.
Or you say www.grantchallengesnigeria.com.
Okay. All right, but I don't know who is best suited to responding to this. What is the place of the media? All of you have mentioned the media at one time or the other. So what's my place, for instance, as a media practitioner, if I want to find a place?
That's a very good question. See, for most of the challenges that we have, whether grant or whatever challenge you call it, in anywhere in the world, including Nigeria, the media is key to addressing that challenge. Now, if I take nutrition as an example now, we have what we call social and behavioral change communications. Sometimes it's not like the food that we don't have. It's not the resources that we don't have. You can have abundance of food, and people scared, but you don't know how to use it. So enlightenment is very, very important. And how do we do that? It's through the media, different media handles, the different strategies that we can get from the media. So for example, on this challenge, I will expect people from the media to get themselves organized to say this is the new innovative way of getting information across, or reminding whether it's mother or husband or child in terms of addressing maternal and child health issues. So without that, we'll be doing a lot of things that will not be able to get to that grassroots. Is it identifying the best way to get to the mother at that rural village? Is it a radio that she's listening to? Is there a way that we have to use phone? Is it that we are targeting the adolescent? How can we use media to get them engaged? So there's a lot that media can do, and it's necessary. I don't think that there's a way to solve any problem without it.
All right, Professor Folake Samuel, we're about to round up this conversation, but let us know, those who are pitching ideas, who are going to be a part of this challenge, is there any form of incentive for them, or is this just the fact that their products or whatever it is they're coming up with gets a national platform? What really is obtainable by those pitching ideas?
So there is, like was mentioned before, there is a technical review committee that will be looking at the different proposals. Both local and international reviewers are in that pool. These are people who are innovators, who have also broken the frontiers in their different countries and in their different areas. So they have an eye for innovation. So after that, there's going to be the award of 60 million naira for each winning proposal. And they're supposed to carry out that work for 12 to 15 months. After which, there's going to be another call to see among these 10, which 4 are the best scalable solutions. So the 60 million is for each grantee in this first level. So we expect that this money is able to show us the potential of a seed innovation that can be scaled later on. So the benefit goes beyond the grantee. The benefit comes to Nigeria. So what we are doing is like we are catalyzing some thought process and some kind of...
So how do you intend to monitor? Once you give out that 60 million, how do you monitor to ensure that...
There's a robust monitoring and evaluation system.
Because I can just take 60 million and jackpot.
No. There is a robust monitoring and evaluation system. We have a governing board, we have an advisory board, and in the advisory board, we have development partners, we have government. He is part of it, NISPRI. His organization is part, NIMA is part of it, Dalbag Advisory, Aliko Dangote Foundation, FHI 360, Alive and Thrive.
So when you get the money, you can't board the plane?
You cannot board the plane. Too many eyes are on you.
Money will be in the bank, so it's not in your pocket.
Yes, and it's going to be released in
Dedicated
tranches.
account.
Yes, with milestones. So once you achieve one milestone, the next tranche is released to you. So there is a robust monitoring and evaluation system.
All right, thank you so much for coming on the program and enlightening us about the Grand Challenges Nigeria project. We do sincerely appreciate Professor Salisu Abubakar, President, Nutrition Society of Nigeria. Many thanks for joining us, and we wish you all the best. Professor Folake Samuel, Program Director and Technical Lead, Grand Challenges Nigeria project. It was a pleasure to have you. Professor Latif Sani, Executive Director and CEO, Nigerian Stored Products Research Institute. Thank you so much for the reminder about some of the things that we could use, within us without having to go for processed food. Thank you. All right, so that's it on Good Morning Nigeria this Tuesday. Thank you so much for watching. Remain tuned to the NTA. I'm Ian Ray John.
And I'm Victor Azul. See you again tomorrow.